All right. We have done our theory part of the chapter 4.3, which is about logarithm and law of logarithm just now. So I think it's more systematic if I differentiate the theory part as well as the questions part. Or if you think that it's better for me to combine them into a like 2 hours video, then you let me know. But I think for this one, right, I might separate into 4.3 questions and 4.3 questions, discussion of questions. And I would only discuss questions that I circle in red, yeah, here, that I'll circle in red. The rest that I didn't circle, right, you can do it as your homework. And you can actually send one too. Since now, I think my community is quite small, I can somehow have the time. If I have the time, I'll check for you. All right. But anyhow, leave a comment below lah if you want me to do anything for you. So I'll discuss the red color highlighted question, red color circled questions. And don't mind my voice, yeah, because I speak too long already these few days. All right. And I hope it's not laggy. As I said, the answer for the questions, I'll write it on the empty space on the right. If there's no empty space, I'll write it on the next page. Okay. So part 1, I separated into part 1, part 2, part 3. Why do I separate like this? It's more like part 1 is like the most basic questions. Then when you move to part 2, it's like more exam style. Then when you move to part 3, it's like even more exam style. It's even harder. The marks are more, okay? When you move on to this particular subtopic 4.3 about logarithm is still okay. When you move on to 4.4 about solving, then you can have a lot of hot questions that that I myself sometimes am scared, when I see, oh, so long passage. Okay, but tell yourself, don't be scared. 90 is waiting for you. All right. So we will discuss questions on this first. Okay. Convert number 1. Question number 1. Convert. Wait, before that, let me check whether I've recorded or not. Now, sorry. Okay, because I don't want to speak like 1 hour and realize that I didn't record. Okay, I've recorded, yeah. So I move on. Okay. Question 1. Convert each of the following from index form to logarithmic form. Okay, this question is very simple. It's converting index form to logarithmic form. So the index form is 16 is equals to 2 to the power of 4. This is the index form. Why you call it index form? Because there is an index here. And what is index is actually power. Remember? Introduced chapter 4.1 about what is base and what is index. Okay, so if you want to convert to logarithmic form, don't forget, when you want to convert to logarithmic form, the base would sit as a small number next to the log, which is 2, because 2 is the base. Don't forget, base is the one with the power, yeah? So log base 2, then you know that log base 2, and then you know that this power, the power would become the answer. Remember, the power will become the answer. So the 4 will sit on the right-hand side. And then what is the third number that we haven't written down? 16. So 16 will come here. You see how I do it or not? Do the base first, do the answer first, then write the third thing. Automatically, it will fill in by itself. Okay, this is question A. Question B. Question B is 3 to the power of 3 is equals to 27. So what you do is very simple. Log base what? Base is 3. And then equals to the power on the right-hand side. The last term will come here. This is very simple, okay? So we are done with question 1. We move on to question 2. Okay, question 2 is about converting logarithmic form to the index form. So when you want to convert a logarithmic form to index form, we work out first on 9, a log base 9, 27 is equals to 3 over 2. Don't forget, 3 over 2 is always the power. So this is the base, this is the power. So you can straight write base to the power of 3 over 2 is equals to 27. This is very simple. You just have to recognize that this is the base and this is the power. Okay. Second one, you have 2 is equals to log 749. They're trying to confuse you. Change the order first. Log 749 is equals to 2. Shift left hand, right, and right hand side so it's easier to see. I'm going a bit faster, so you can understand well. So you can have more time discussing more of the back harder questions. So this one, base is 7. The power is 2. Because remember, I told you. So 7 to the power of 2 is equals to the third thing, which is 49. Okay, so it's very simple, okay? This type of question, that's why I included 2 of them only. So we are done with number 2. We move to question 3 now. Question 3 is about log base 10. Okay, when you have log base 10, you can use scientific calculator to calculate. Always look at the question. If they say use scientific calculator, use scientific calculator. Basically, what you do is you use your calculator to type log. You have got a button log. Okay, log button. You've got a log button here. Okay, you've got a log button there. So you just type log. Okay, I put in a button form. You type log. When you type log, you don't have to put 10. Okay, automatically this is log base 10 already. Okay, just type the word log and then type 4850. So I type log, I press one button log, then I press 4850. What you will give you? Okay, I get 3.6857 blah blah blah. Okay, so it depends on the question whether how many significant figures or how many decimal places they want. And if you want me to go through about what is significant figures and what is decimal places, you can let me know in the in the description box. Oh my gosh, in the comment section below. Then I will try to give a video on it. So similarly for B, log base 10 of 0.023. What is it? Okay, so you type log, don't have to put 10, as I mentioned again and again. If you are using the 570 MS calculator, which is my calculator, you don't have to put the 10, you just type the word log, press one time log, then you type the value 0.023. The answer is negative 1.6383. Okay, I'll just leave it in 4 decimal places. Okay, so you notice, right, one is negative and one is not negative. This an observation I want you to tell yourself. Observation is a trick that you can learn yourself also, okay? Whenever you log something, a 0 point something, 0 point anything, decimal with 0, I mean 0 point something. Okay, 0 point, maybe 1, 2, 3, okay? Is between 0 and 1. If this number is between 0 and 1, I'll write down again, okay, because it's a bit messy. Oh my lord, a bit messy, sorry. Okay, if I have log power of something, and then this number, right, is between what? Between 0 and 1. The answer will normally give you a negative value. Okay, you can use your calculator to check, but this one observation I want you to absorb in your head. Why? That's the reason I tell you everything. Because later when you solve inequality later on, in the next 2 videos, I think, I don't know how many videos later on, when you're solving equations, we'll do with inequality. What is inequality? I'll teach you later on. Okay, when you're dealing with inequality, right, there is a condition whereby you have to change the sign of the inequality sign. You don't understand what I mean? Wait for it, it will come. Okay, so I want you to watch out first, because this negative thing, right, will cause that change of the sign later on. If you are experienced, right, you would know, okay? You straight away know. I'm trying to tell you right now first. You don't have to memorize what I tell you first, but when you reach that stage, you must know, okay? So this is the answer for number 3. I will just finish it. Okay, question number 4. Question number 4 is without using a calculator. When they say without using a calculator, means you don't use a calculator. You have to show your working. So question A, log base 10 of 10,000. Or when you see questions like this, right, try to simplify. Try to use the 3 law of logarithm. Okay, 3 law of logarithm. What law of logarithm can you apply with this one? Okay, so you can express this as 10 to the power of 4. Why? If you type into your calculator 10 to the power of 4, you will get 10,000. Okay, don't forget that. Type in your calculator, you can express it as 10 to the power of 4. So when you have same thing, right, you must be sensitive in your brain already. When you have same thing, right, you can do something about it. But before you can do that, always must in front first. Throw this thing in front first if you want to do whatever you want to do here. Because, right, you learn the theorem that log AA equals to 1. Okay, and this A has nothing here, okay? Has nothing here. So you must eliminate this thing also. You understand what I mean? Try to think the thing from the theorem that you learn. So you must remove the thing. How do you remove? Use theorem 3. I mean, use law of logarithm 3. Throw this 4 in front. Why I can throw the 4 in front? Because it belongs to one thing, and it belongs to 10. So I throw it in front. It will become 4 log 10, 10. And log 10, 10, okay, now I can apply the law of logarithm of, not law of logarithm, is the one of the identity. When you have log AA, when you have the same thing, it becomes 1. So it becomes 1. So you have 4 times 1, which gives you 4. All right, this is very simple, but I'm trying to go through it in detail. If you are learning it for the first time, you would want to learn it that way. Okay, let's go to B. B is very simple. When it's exactly the same, the answer is straight away equals to 1. Okay, let's go to C. C is log 232. Whenever you see questions like this, right, always think whether you can express this one in this base or not. Why you want to express it in the base? You cannot just accept what I tell you. You must know why I want you to change it to base 2. Because when you change it to base 2, right, just say if you can change this to base 2 to the power of something, I don't know, something lah. Base 2 to the power of n lah, base 2 to the power of n. You know that you can bring the n in front. Then log 2 will become 1. Then you can simplify, become n. This is the idea, okay, behind this type of question. So you try to express it 32 in terms of base 2. So how you do it is log 2 and is in fact possible to convert this to base 2, and it is 2 to the power of 5. Okay. As I repeat again, must bring this 5 in front first. 5 log 2. So equals to 5 times 1 equals to 5. This is C. I'll rub it off because I use this space to discuss other questions. D. Okay, D is something you have to watch out. D, it looks hard. It looks hard, but it's actually very simple. Just recognize the pattern. That's why I keep telling you. Recognize as many types of questions as possible. Recognize the patterns of them. Try to input in your brain. If you're not sure, write down in a folder. Oh, this is a type of question. I want you to be able, right, after you finish all these questions, right, I want you to write how many different types of questions, have you encountered through this whole exercise that I give you. Only when you give me a true figure, you can correctly, it shows that you have actually counted it. And when you count it, you realize that, oh, they're actually, for example, I've counted, there are maybe like 14 types. So I can roughly know of 14 types, what is the first type, second type, third type. Roughly you will know, okay? But you don't have to go so deep lah. You just roughly work along that line, then you would organize your stuff better. Okay, log 10 0.1, always convert it to fraction. Listen, whenever you have something like this, always convert it to fraction first. Okay, it is easier to see in fraction. So when you convert it to fraction, it becomes log 10 or log base 10, 1 over 10. Okay, when you have log 10, inside you have a division. Inside this log 10, you have a division. You can split it to something minus something, log something minus log something. I repeat, if you have log some, this is basically your law of logarithm number 2. If you have log in a bracket something divided by something, you can actually express it as log top minus log bottom. How? You should do log base 10 of 1 minus log base 10 of 10. Okay, what is log base 10 of 1? Log base 10 of 1, anything, when you have a 1 on the right hand side here, it automatically becomes 0. Or if you forget about it, somehow you forget about the formula, okay? Learn the way I teach you to understand. 10 to the power of what give you 1? You must know, the only possible value for power of 10 to become 1 is 0. Because you know that anything to the power of 0 will give you 1. So in other words, this will become 0. Or if you memorize it already, if this value is 1 here, it's always 0. Okay? And log 10, 10, when these two numbers are the same, it's 1. So you have 0 minus 1 gives you negative 1. Understood? Very simple. This is D. I won't go through F and G. I want you to do it yourself. It's very simple. E, I will go through E. Log 2, 8. What is the answer of log base cert 2 or cert 2? I call it cert 2. Okay, get used to this word cert 2 because I'll go through certs also. It's a new syllabus that you need to learn. Cert. Okay, or I call it root 2, square root of 2. Log to the base, log, oh my gosh, wait. Log to the base of square root 2, 8 of 8. What is this answer? You try to express this thing as a base of square root 2. Because as I told you, this is square root 2. You try to express this as something square root 2. Okay? So how do I do it? Is log to the power of square root, the base of square root 2, 2 square root 2 to the power of something. Why am I doing this? Because I'm trying to convert this 8 into this thing. Why I want to do it? Because once I've converted to this form, I can throw this in front and I can make this into 1. So what I will do is that you must think now. Square root 2 to the power of what will give you 8? Square root 2 to the power of what will give you 8? Think of it. Okay? Square root 2 to the power of what will give you 8? Don't forget, one way you can do it is, this is, you let it be x. You let this be x. Okay? Once you let it be x, and you know that square root has a power of half. So you have 2 to the power of half x equals to 8. What is x? You know that 8 is actually 2 to the power of 3. So you have 2 to the power of half x equals to 2 to the power of 3. So you know that x is equals to 6. Can you follow me? I hope you understand, because I can compare the top. This is what we learned in chapter 4.1. So I won't explain so much really. Once I compare, how I get this one is because I compare half x is equals to 3. So x is equals to, when I bring the negative 2 for multiplication, I have 3 times 2, 6. So I know that this power must be 6. If not, you try your calculator yourself. If you do not know how to do, right, you try your calculator. You try your calculator and see whether it's true or not, this thing, my lord. See whether it's true or not, this thing. You type square root 2 in a bracket. Don't forget the bracket. In a bracket, square root 2, you power of 6. What is your answer? Do you get 8 or not? You must get 8 because this one originates from this one. Okay? And I repeat again now, why we want to convert it to the base of square root 2. Why? Why? Because once we have base of square root 2 and this number here is square root 2, after throwing this in the front, we can make this thing as 1. This answer will become 1. Why will this log base square root 2 of square root 2 become 1? Because they are the same thing. That is the idea why we are changing 8 to this base. Understand or not? Okay. This is one of the method lah. So you know that the answer is 6. You just bring the answer down there. So wait, I repeat again. How do you know the answer is 6? You throw the power to the front, becomes 6 log set 2, set 2. Okay, set 2 and square root 2 is the same thing. So log this thing will become 1. So it left with 6 times 1, which is equal to 6. So it is something you want to highlight. Okay, highlight with yourself. It's a question that is quite tricky. Okay, and I want to go through H with you. H, right? It's something that you learn. Okay, log anything when you have 0 on the number here, it gives you undefined. Don't get confused with this one. This one will give you 0. If this number is 1, this is 0. If this number is 0, it's undefined. Don't get confused. Look through your identity above. Okay, so we are done with number 4 actually. Okay, so now we move on to part 2. I see where to write the working first. I think I can write it on the right. Okay, part 2, I will just do 4 questions, okay? So this question is a type of question they like to always ask, okay? They love to ask this kind of question. They give you log 23 as a number, log 25 as a number. They don't expect you to use calculator for this question, okay? So what you do is, right, for example, we go on to D, you look at the method, how I do it, you have log 2, 1 over 4. Okay, what is the purpose of doing this is that you simplify. Okay, if you can solve this one without using these two, then you go ahead and solve it. Okay, but what's the reason of them giving you this thing? It's because you see in question E later lah. But we go on to question D first. Question D, you don't have to use these two things. Why? I tell you why. Because I told you when you have a log and a division inside the bracket, what you do is you can split the log into a minus. Log 2, 1 minus log 2, 4. Log 2, 1, anything number here 1 will become 0. Minus log 2, 4 is actually log 2, change 4 to the base 2. Always think of a way to change this number to this base if you can. So log 4 can be expressed 2 to the power of 2. Correct or not? 2 to the power of 2. Then 0 minus 2 you bring in front. 2. And then you have log 2, 2. Log 2, 2 will become 1. Remember, because these two numbers are the same. So what I did, I repeat again. Don't get confused. I shift to the 2 to the front. First thing I did is I shift 2 in front. I get 2 log 2, 2. And then this log 2, 2, since these two numbers are the same, it becomes 1. So 2 times 1 will give you 2. So I have 0 minus 2, which is negative 2. Not hard, huh? This is question D. Question E. Okay, question E you have to use, okay? How are you going to express? Normally when you see this kind of question, right, remember the method, how you do it, the technique. Tell yourself, this is a type of question. You remember I told you, try to know how many types of question, and each type of it, you must know the working. Be able to visualize everything from top to bottom clearly. All right? So what I'll do, log 245 square. Okay, this 2, right, normally throw it in front first. Okay, when you're solving question like this, throw it in front first. You have 2, wait, let me see. 2 log 245. Always, if you cannot change 45 in the base of 2, right? First step, if you check, first step is you check whether you can change this number here to the base of this one or not. Can or not? Can 45 be changed to base of 2? Cannot. Okay, cannot, okay? Why? You type your calculator and check. 2 times 2 equals to 4. Times 2 again equals to 8. Times 2 again equals to 16. You times 2 again equals to 32. You times 2 again, 64. You see, it passes 45. So it's not, 45 is not, cannot be expressed as a base of 2. So what you do, right, if you cannot express it as a base of 2, you try to break it down. Break it down. Okay, think of it. 45 is what times what? 45 is actually 9 times 5. Okay, 9 times 5. So you continue doing it. 2 log 2. Can you continue breaking it? 5, can you break it to something times something? Cannot, okay? You might tell me, oh, it can be broken down into 2.5 times 2. But no decimal. Okay, I don't want decimal, I don't want fraction. I want number, integer times integer. Can you break it down further? Not 5 cannot, but 9 can. Why? Because 9 is 3 times 3. Correct or not? Correct? 3 times 3 and 3 times squared. So 3 squared times 5. Okay, so now I realize that, oh, 3 cannot be broken down anymore. 5 cannot be broken down anymore. Okay, so now I look at the top. Can I apply or not? I teach you how to see. So when you are doing this step already, right, what you do is this 2, okay, don't forget, if you see this thing, right, you must be able to think of the law of logarithm 1 immediately, because you have a log and inside is a times. Okay, don't be scared of this 2. This 2 is like 2a only. You understand? 2 multiplying with this only, nothing much. You can still do the law of indices, law of logarithm to the right hand side here. So what you do is you break it up. But when you break it up, don't forget to put a bracket. Okay, this bracket is very important. Write down in your 1/3 section. Don't forget this bracket. So you have log 2 3 square. Okay, 2 log 2 3 square plus log 2 5. Basically, what I've done is I'm converting this bracket into this thing. It's very easy. It's basically using the law that log A BC is equals to log AB plus log AC. Okay, so this one is basically your law of logarithm 1. So what you can do now is these 2 remain outside. This power of 2 can bring forward. Why? Because this power of 2 only belong to one thing. So you bring it forward, it becomes still in the bracket. 2 log 2 3 plus log 2 5. Okay, until you have reached this step, then you can substitute value. You can only substitute these values. You see, the purpose of us doing this, right, simplify and breaking it down, is to get this thing and to get this thing, because it is exactly same as this thing and this thing. Okay, why, you might be asking me, why I cannot do it on this step? Why cannot I just substitute this value inside here? You might ask me why cannot. Always don't forget, one rule is always to throw the power down first. Think of it, or you can try to memorize it. Always throw the power down first. Only you can substitute. Okay, so when you have this thing and this thing already, you can substitute. Why? Because there's no power up here already. Okay, so you substitute. So you have 2 in a bracket. 2 times what? 2 times 1.59, because log 2 3, according to the question they gave you, is equals to 1.59. And that is the purpose they give you, because they know that you're going to reach here. You got what I mean? And then plus, don't forget, close your bracket, plus 2.32, because 2.32 is log base 2, 5. Okay? Then close the bracket, and then you calculate. Okay? If some of you do not know how to calculate this one, you must brush up your basics. If you need me to go through your basic operation, let me know, okay, in the description, in the comment section below. So what you do is you take 2 times 1.59 using a calculator, plus 2.32, then that answer times 2. You get your final answer. So this is a question I want you to highlight. It's quite a good question. If you are first time doing it, you might get confused. So you might want to take a snapshot, or you want to write it down first, or anything. You can try to see it first. Don't forget, another trick I told you just now is, when there's a power 2 here, you cannot substitute this log 2.3 with 1.59 yet. Must throw the power down first. These things you must write it down. Okay? Yep. Okay, so after E, I'll do F now, okay? It's basically log 2 square root 5. Always change the square root to the power of half first. Because when you change it to the power of half, you can throw the half to the front. Okay? Okay, let me ask you a question. Can you straight away substitute log 2.5 with 2.32 here? Cannot, Don't ever forget cannot. Why? Because Brian said, when there's a power here, you cannot substitute yet. Throw the power to the front first. And can you throw the power to the front? Yes, because there's only one thing here. Okay, so you throw the power to the front, half log base 2, 5. Now you substitute half times log base 2, 5 is 2.32. Then you calculate this value. You get your answer. That's F, quite a simple question. I go through H now. H is log base 2, square root 25. It's cube root 25. So it's cube root 25, not square root 25. Watch out, because there's a 3 here. This 3 belongs to this cube root, okay? It's like cube root 25. What times what times what gives you 25? You see, for every operation, I have a way to explain to myself, that's why I can understand things better. Even though it's very common, people know, cube root of 25, I know what it means, but I cannot explain only. But to me, I will tell myself, cube root of 25 is actually something times something times something gives you 25. Okay? So you must try to train yourself to think that way, the understanding method. Okay, as I said, always convert this one to the fraction. Okay, so how do you convert it to fraction? I told you already, what is the root? This is the root, right? What's the root value? Is 3. What is the power value? Is 1, because there's a hidden 1 here, don't forget. So don't forget, log base 2, I can convert it to log base 2, 25 is the answer, the number here, I copy down. And how do I convert it to power of fraction? Is power root. Don't forget power root. Remember, I done in chapter 4.1. So power stays on top, root stays below. So you have this one. Okay? So, and then you realize 25, you still cannot substitute anything. So what you do is to break 25 down. The idea is to break 25 down, you get a log 2. 25 is 5 squared. 5 squared, then power of 1 over 3. Correct or not? So then what you do is log base 2. When you have power side by side, what can you do about it? Because this 1 over 3, see, this 1 over 3 belongs to this bracket, so you can do it, okay? So power of 1 over 3, when you have power side by side, what you do in chapter 4.1, I've taught you that when you have power side by side, kissing each other, what you do is you multiply the powers together. So you get log base 5, 2 times 1 over 3 gives you 2 over 3. Multiply with the numerator, you get 2 over 3. Okay, now you can bring this power to the front. I forgot the base here. You bring the power to the front. Why? Because log base 2, 5 is substitutable. I don't know whether this word exists or not. It can be substituted with 2.32. So I bring 2 over 3 to the front, and then I substitute log 2, 5 with 2.3. So the answer is 2 over 3 times 2.32. That's your answer. Calculate yourself. I won't give you the answer. That's H. This is the type of question that I want you to remember, okay? Quite common also, okay? This is part 2, question 1. All right, so we go to part 2, question 2. Part 2, question 2 is about simplification. Simplification, right, as the word explains, is about simplifying. Means you are trying to make something simple. You see, now I try to explain myself everything. Okay, you are trying to simplify the logarithmic expression to its simplest form. How do you do it? Is by try and error. You just try all the law of logarithms, see whether you get it or not. Okay, so A, we do we do E, D and E. Okay, for D, we have 5 log 2A minus log 2B minus log 2C. Okay, whenever you want to simplify, you have to do opposite of what you did in this question. You want to throw the power on top. You want to throw the power up. Okay, I explain to you why. Okay, so I tell you what is the correct method first. So I would bring the 5 up because you know, right? Log ax power of n, this one can bring down. Okay, similarly, this one can become n log ax. Similarly, I can work the opposite direction. Okay, this n I can throw it up to become like this. That's the idea lah, huh? So the 5 I throw up there, I get log 2a to the power of 5 minus log 2b minus log 2c. Try to separate everything. Try to separate this thing. Okay? When you separate this thing, that's one mistake that students always make. Okay? When you're separating this thing, right? When you put a minus, don't get to put a bracket. Log 2. Wait, it's very messy. It's not enough space. I try to, oh my god. I try to throw it to the left a bit, so I don't know whether you can see or not, just because I want to write this thing. Okay, so I'm breaking this down using law of logarithm number 2, law of logarithm number 1. When there's multiplication, you can split it. So when you split it, right, don't forget the bracket. Log base 2 plus log base 2c. Don't forget this bracket. It's another tip you would want to write down right now. Don't wait later, you'll forget. Okay, if you don't have this bracket, right, you see, it is negative and plus. In front of this thing is plus, in front of this thing is minus. But if you have the bracket, it's totally different, You multiply this one negative, it will become minus. When you open the bracket, it will become minus log 2. Then when you multiply, it will give you another negative, log 2c. You see, just now this was plus, now this is minus. That's why the answer will change. So don't forget the bracket. This is one tip you want to write down. Okay? So then you can solve. Okay, so wait, let me check and see. They want you to simplify. Okay, so now what you do is since everything is in the base 2, right? Since everything is in base 2 and they are separated by minus and plus. Okay, but before that, you try to expand the bracket first. I try to rewrite down here. Okay, it's just here. Okay, I just write it down here. So what you do next is that you make it equals to, open the bracket first. Okay, log 2a power 5 minus log 2b minus log 2 minus plus is minus. Okay, when you're opening up the bracket, minus plus will give you minus log 2c. Okay, so now if you have everything in terms of log 2, you can combine everything. How you want to combine? Using the reverse of law. Remember law 1 and 2, we have log ABC is equals to log AB plus log AC. Now I'm moving the opposite direction. What if I have log AX plus log AY? I can convert it to log A XY. Okay, this is the idea. And you must spot there must not be any number here, okay, when you want to combine them. There must not be any number here when you want to combine them. All right, this is another trick you will want to write it down. When you want to combine them, there must not be any number in front. Don't ever forget this. Try to practice more, then you get used to it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so now there's no number in front, everything. There's no number in front of this log 2, and everything is in terms of log 2. So I can combine everything. How can I combine? So minus means I will divide this b. Minus means I will divide. Wait, let me see. I can. Okay, if you realize this log 2 can be just become 1. Okay, I think there are a few answers to this question. This log 2 can just become 1. Okay, this log 2 can just become 1. So this one will become 1. So you don't have to care for log 2 anymore. It's 1. So you care for this one, and this one. This is going to be log to the power of log base 2a to the power of 5 minus log base 2b minus log base 2c. So since in front of this term is minus, in front of this term is minus, when you combine them, right, these two is like division. I'll show you how. It's like the reverse process. I hope you understand. So what you get is log base 2 in a big bracket, a to the power of 5. You divide b and you divide c. Why do you divide them? Because there's a minus in front of them. If it is a plus in front of them, then I write it times on top. But since it's minus in front of them, I divide them. So over BC. Okay? You divide by B and divide by C. It simply means you divide by BC. Okay? You can try yourself out. This is basic operation. Okay? Now you have this, then you minus 1, because don't forget the 1 we left here. So this is one of the method of doing it. Okay? I think it's well simplified already. So don't forget a few things here. If you want to combine log 2, you want to combine the log 2 or log base something, you want to combine all of them together, don't forget you need to shift the power upwards. Okay? You want to shift the power upwards. For the top, it's different. If you want to substitute with this one, right, if you want to break things, you see what's the difference between this question and this question now? Is right. This one, you have log base 2 something big. You're trying to split it to smaller one. Log 2 small plus log 2 small plus log 2 small. This is your idea for the top question. But the bottom question, right, is you have individual small things. You're trying to combine them. You understand what I mean? This one is trying to break things up. This one you're trying to combine things. That's the biggest difference I want you to write down. Combine things. That is why, right, this one you will tend to use the what you call it, the forward process of the law of logarithm. Basically, if you have log ABC is equals to log AB plus log AC, you move forward. But when you go to simplification, right, normally you move backwards. You see not? Because you're combining these two to become one thing. But for this one, you want to break things up, you break this one, you break the BC to log to these two things. Why you want to break it up? Because you want to substitute with this one. Okay, roughly get the idea. There's one method to study everything, to memorize everything straight away. So you must get used to it. I try to introduce some logic to you, okay, so that you can understand. That is question 2. Oh, my voice. Okay. We go through question E also, okay? Question E is the same thing. We try to combine everything up when you want to simplify. So when you want to simplify, how do you combine everything up? You have to throw everything to the power, become the power. So you have log B, log 3. I changed straight away. This square root B, I straight away changed B to the power of half. Okay? B to the power of half. And I'm shifting these two upwards. So there's another 2 here. Okay? Where does this half come from? From the square root. Where did this 2 come from? From the front number just now. I shift the 2 up here. All right? Then you plus. Okay, this one is already up here. Very good. Leave it as it is. Okay? Don't forget, combine everything while simplifying. You want to throw all the powers up there. Okay? And then minus. Okay, this no good. You want to shift it up, the power. So what you do is minus log 3q to the power of 3. Okay, now everything is log 3 and there is no number in front of each log. You can combine them. Until this step, you can combine them. Make sure you fulfill the condition. There's no number in front, and also they must be log of the same base. If this one is log base 4, you don't combine them. Okay. So what you do is it will combine to become log base 3 and you combine everything. This, when you have power next to each other, they can cancel. So it becomes power of 1 only. Okay. This b to the power of 1 only. All right. Imagine this one will become power of 1 only. So log base 3, put a big bracket. B, okay, B, you know you must times p squared. Why times p squared? Because it's a plus. Okay, it's a plus here. That's why you times p squared. So I know 1 times p squared. Then I know I divide by q cubed. Why I divide by q cubed? Because it's a minus in front here. Okay, divided by q cubed. So what is the theory what is the theorem I'm applying upon? Is when you have, I repeat again and again, log A, B, C is equals to log A, B plus log base A, C. So if you move the opposite direction, right? When you move in the opposite direction, you see how do you combine? Okay, for example, I give you opposite direction, log AB plus log AC. How do you combine them? How do you combine them is, okay, you make sure there's no number in front and you make sure it's same base. So what you do next is actually you see what is the sign in front of each of their term. Okay, in front of this term, in front of C is plus. In front of B is also plus, okay? But now my B is not important. So in front of C is plus. So what you do is, you times B and C. It becomes log base A, B, C. That is why this is the opposite direction of this one. You understand what I mean? Similarly, if you have log AB minus log AC, since it's a minus in front of this thing, so what you do is, instead of times C, you divide by C. That's why you get log A, B over C. It's all about moving forward and moving backwards. So you must get used to the type of questions, whether you are simplifying it or it's the type above. So your job is to actually be able to solve this kind of question. Tell yourself, oh, simplifying means I'm going to combine everything. When the question is something like this, when the question is something like this one, like where they give you values for the small one, you got to break things up. And that is moving in the forward direction of the law of logarithm. But if it is simplifying, then you move backwards. Okay, so all this you got to try yourself lah. I cannot be trying to impose everything to you. There are things you learn yourself. Okay, so now we move on to the last part of exercises, which is on changing base. Changing base, as I said, I repeat again. What is changing base? Changing base is basically when you have log x, y, log x, y. I just give you use another symbol. I want to change it to log z. I want to change it to base z. Because this is base x, I want to change it to base z. How do I do it? I write log base z above, log base z below. Because log base z is what we want. So I log base z above and bottom. And then the right hand side one will go top. The x, the left hand side one will go bottom. Understand? This is how you change the base. This is the method, okay? All right, so how do you change? Okay, find the value. Okay, when they ask you to find the value of this, right, it's impossible for you to calculate in your calculator when it's base 8. Because your calculator can only calculate base 10. So they're actually expecting you to know. To change the bases to base 10. Okay, so how do you change to base 10? You take log, okay, when I convert to base 10, I straight write base 10 over base 10, don't forget. Then the right hand side one will sit on top, the left hand side one will sit below. That's how I get it. Log 10 is 1. Why? Because same number. Log 10 8 you can calculate in your calculator. Log 10 8 you just type log 8. You get 0.903. So you divide and you get the answer, final answer. This is your calculator, okay? I won't calculate for you. B is the same thing. Log base 3 0.1. As I told you, when you see decimals, try to change it into decimal fractions. But for this case, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter because you're just changing base. So when you want to change to base, right, you want to change base, you just change it to log base 10 over log base 10. Log base 10, what is on the right is 0.1, what is on the left is 3. Okay, this is the right one, this is the left one. Left one go down, left one go here, right one go to the top. Okay, so what you get is log 0.1 divided by log 3. Okay, you get the answer is negative 2.096. Yeah, okay. If you happen to listen to me, right? If you happen to listen to me, right, to break into a fraction, right, it doesn't matter also, but the working is a bit longer only for this case. 1 over 10. Then you break it up. Become log 3 1 minus log 3 10. Correct, not? Log 3 1 minus log 3 10. Log 3 1 is 0 because anything, the value here is 1, it become 0 automatically. So the answer is just 0 minus this one, which is, so this is still base 3. So now you convert base to log base 10 is equals to 0 minus log base 10 of 10 over log base 10 of 3. Okay, convert the base. Then you get 0 minus 1 over log 10 3. So you try to calculate, see whether you get it or not. 1 divided by log 3 equals to 0 minus answer. Basically, just type in the calculator, you get the same answer. Minus 0.2, minus 2.096. Okay, minus 2.096. A bit blurry really. Okay, so this is what you would want to do For this type of question, you can note down, you don't have to change to fraction for the 1 over 10. Okay, but for the top question, you know. So you must do your job as a student to compare as many things as possible and understand them clearly. Keep repeating the word clearly, 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 clearly. All right, so we move on with question 2A, okay? So question 2A is quite similar to the question that you did above, that you did in this one, okay? It's quite similar, but what you have got to do is that you've got to change base, okay? You've got to change to base B, all right? I'll explain to you why, okay? So what do you do is actually, for example, I will go through one or two questions, I think. I'll go through part 1 first. Okay, so you have log 2b. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to substitute with a like they gave you the substitution that you need to use. So what you want to do is to break it up to smaller parts so that you can substitute. That's the idea. You understand? That's why you want to break it up and substitute later on. So when you want to substitute, don't forget, you don't want the power to be on top. You want the power to be below. Okay? We'll see about that when we reach there. All right, so when you look at this, how do you break this up? You break this up, since it's a multiplication, you can break it up by to become log 2 plus log 2b. Log 2 plus log 2b based on the first law of logarithm. So log 2, since these two numbers are the same, it becomes 1 plus log 2b. Okay, so now we have log 2b, but we do not have log 2b here, okay? We only have log b2. So what we do, right, is that we try to change this one to base b. Why we want to change to base b? Because both of these are base b. So if you change to base b, high chance you can substitute. So what you do is, you see, is equals to 1. 1 has nothing to change. You change to log base b. So you write log base b over log base b. Okay. What you put on the top is what is on the right-hand side. As I taught you earlier, how to change base. B will stay up, 2 will go down. Log BB, you should know better than me. This is 1. Okay? And log B2, can you substitute with C or not? Okay, you check what are the conditions you need. You cannot have any power here, which is this case, you don't have any power here. So you can straight away substitute this one with C. So you will get answer as 1 plus 1 over C. Or you can actually write your answer in terms of C plus 1 over C is the same thing. Okay? Basically, how I come from here to here is I change 1 to become C over C. So same denominator, I combine them, then above is C plus 1. Okay, this is actually your A to A1. Now we move on to I try to see. I'll do straight away number 3, okay? Okay, I think I did not mention the question. I'm so sorry. I did not actually explain the question good enough. Okay. What I did was correct, okay? But basically, I forgot to emphasize on the question for you guys to know, okay? The question is asking for you to find the logarithm in terms of A and or C. Means your answer must consist either A or C lah, or both of them together, existing together. That's the meaning of in terms of, okay? In terms of, don't forget. Okay, so number 3 I'll do is log base 6b squared. Okay, so how do I do about this? Is that I try to change log base 6 to what? To either log base b. Why do I have to change to log base b? Because tables is in terms of log base b. Okay, so when you have log base 6b squared, what do you do? How do you change base is, you want to change to log base b, right? So you log base b above, log base b below. So when you have log base b above and below, what do you do now is, you write the one on the right-hand side to be on top. You write the one on the left-hand side to be bottom. Okay, so you have this. So you have log bb squared. This one you should be quite familiar now. What you do is that you bring 2 in front, and then log bb will become 1. So 2 times 1 will give you 2. Okay, I'm keeping some, okay, as I've gone through in previous questions already. So you divide by log base b6. And you must understand that log base b6 is still not substitutable. I don't know whether there's such word or not, but you get what I mean. Still cannot be substituted with either log base b2 or log base b3. So what you must do is you must further break it down. Further break this down into what? Into, because you know that log base b6 is actually log base b 2 times 3. Okay, as I taught you, when you want to substitute, you try to break things down. So 6 is 2 times 3. So you continue. It's 2 over multiply. When you have a log multiplication inside a bracket, you can split it to log base b 2 plus log base b 3. Okay, now you can substitute because you have the value for log base b2 and log base b3. Okay, so you substitute the value, you shall get 2 over c plus a, because you know that log base b2 is c, log base b3 is a. So are you answering the question or not? Always check. Are you answering the question or not? Find the following logarithms in terms of a or and c. Yeah, so you have c and a, which is very good, which is what the answer wants. Okay, so that's the method of how to solve this question. It's actually same with the substitution that we did above. Okay, but these questions, we change base. We need to change base. That's the difference, okay? And then we move on to question B. Question B is, let me see here. You want to express each of the following question down here in terms of R and T. So your answer, you want to see got R or got T, or got both also can. Okay, that's the idea of the question. So how do you do it? I do one. Okay, first of all, you must see what they give you. Is equals to 3 to the power of R and Y is equals to 3 to the power of T. So this is another type of question you might want to take note, okay? Do is actually, you take log base 3 for this one. I'll explain to you why I do it, okay? So you take log base 3. You see when I have x equals to 3 to the power of R, what I can do is I can take log base 3 on the both sides. Okay, let me rewrite it. Okay, this is something you can write it down again, okay? X equals to 3 to the power of R. I can take log base 3 and log base 3 left and right. I can do it this way. I can. Make sure it's the same base. Log base 3 means on the right is log base 3 also. So when I log both sides, I will get log base 3 x on the left, and on the right, you see I bring the R down now. Because this is actually log base 3 to the power of R. So I bring the R down, I get R base 3. And you know that this is actually equals to 1. So you get log base 3x is equals to 1. Okay. Why am I changing it to log base 3? Because I noticed in a question, I noticed in a question below here, that you see, the base here is all 3 and 9. It's all the family of 3. So it is useful if I can have the substitution. If I can have the substitution, oh, I made a mistake here. This is supposed to be R, okay? This is supposed to be R. Because log 3 is 1. This thing is 1. So R times 1 is R. Okay? So I know that I can easily substitute this one. I just need to break this thing up. You get what I mean? Like above here. Basically, B is a brother of A. Brother. Okay? It's exactly the same thing, but they don't give you in this form. They give you in this form. So you need to convert this form into something like this before you can substitute. So this is like one extra step as compared to 2A. Okay? So I repeat the process again in case you don't get it. Because they gave us in terms of x equals to 3 to the power of r, we cannot do anything. So what we do is, I realize everything here has a base of 3, base of 9 is a family of 3. So I log base 3 both sides. Log base 3 x equals to log base 3, 3 to the power of r. So log base 3 x equals to r can bring forward r log base 3, 3. And this thing will become 1. So at the end, you get log base 3x is equals to r times 1, which is r. So I get the first substitution already. So later, right, I can work this thing out, I can break this thing up, break things up, blah, 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 blah. I can break it up until it reaches this small portion of log base 3x. Then I can substitute this thing with r later. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, so similarly, you have done for this thing, you've got to do the same thing for the second substitution also, which is this one. Okay, so how do you do this substitution is, same thing, you log base 3 on left hand side and you log base 3 on the right hand side. Okay, log base 3, log base 3. So what you get is log base 3y is equals to t, bring forward, you get t times log base 3, 3. And log base 3, 3 is equals to 1. So you have log base 3y equals to t times 1, which is equals to t. Okay, so now you have these two substitutions you can use later. So if you can express your answer here in terms of log base 3x and log base 3y, you can substitute the respective substitutions with r and t. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, you try to recognize the pattern. If they give you this one, you need to log base something first. If they give you this one, you don't have to. You just break this thing up and substitute. Okay, so you must know the pattern, the difference of them. Okay, so you know them already. I will just write down I'll just try to do it on the next page. All right, to solve 2b1, what we do, okay, I copied the question down already. What we do, because it's a substitution question, so I want to break everything up to be as simple as possible. So I can substitute the substitution that we have done just now. Okay, so what I do is I break it up. This one, according to the law of logarithm, which is log base a, b, c, when they multiply each other, I can break it up to become log base ab plus log base ac. Okay, similarly, if I have log base ab over c, what I can do is I can break it up to become log base ab minus log base ac. These are the two rules, right? This is multiplication. What I do is I convert it to log base, what is the base? 3, okay? So I write 3, not a, log base 3x plus log base 3y squared. Y plus because of multiplying here, in front of multiply, okay? From this law, multiply means you plus, divide means you minus. So then I still have the 27. 27 is actually being divided, so you minus log base 327. Okay, I'm just following these simple rules down here. All right, so I'll rub it off. So once we reach this step, right, we want to substitute things in. So if you want to substitute things in, you want to break it up to be as simple as possible. So have we broken down everything as simple as possible? We haven't. Because when we want to substitute this one, this square cannot be here, correct or not? Remember I told you when you want to substitute, this one must be in front. I hope you have written down notes for the previous questions already. So log 3x, this one has nothing to change anymore. It cannot be broken down any further. Plus 2, you bring it forward. Why you want to bring it forward? So that you can substitute this one. If you don't bring it forward, you cannot substitute yet. So it's 2 log base 3y minus log base 3 27 is not the simplified form yet. Not to say it's not simplified form. It's not broken down completely yet. 27 can still be broken down. And if you are well versed with if you know your family of 3 well, family of 3, number 3, well, you know that 27 is actually 3 cubed. So you convert it to log base 3 cubed. All right. Then you bring the 3 forward. Okay, as I said again, why you want to bring the 3 forward? So that you can do things with this thing. Okay, so you bring it forward. I don't want to write another step. I just straight away write it in front. Okay, so log 3 you know is going to be 1, but we slowly do it. So what is log 3x? Have we found what is log 3x? Yes, we have found what is log 3x. It's r. Can you see r here? I'll highlight. It's a bit messy here, but I hope you can follow. R here. And log base 3y is t. So if I have log base 3x and log base 3y, I can substitute with r and t, which I have in this case because I've broken down them into simpler steps. So log base 3x is r plus 2 log base 3y is t. Then I minus a 3 times 1 because log base 3 is actually 1. Okay, so I have r plus 2t minus 3. So check back. Have I answered the question? Check. What did they ask you? They asked you to express each of them, which is this one, in terms of r and t. Means your answer must have r or t or r and t together. Okay, so yes, it's correct because this answer has r and t. So it's correct. I'm answering the question. Always check back. Okay, this is very simple because it did not involve change in base. Let's move on to question 2, okay? Part 2. Okay, B2. Log base 9 of x cubed over y. Okay, as usual, break things up. What I mean break things up is you try to separate them into as many plus and minus as possible. Try to break things up, okay? So it's log base 9 x cubed minus log base 9 y. I hope that you have followed my lesson enough so that I can do it immediately. I don't have to tell you step by step already, okay? If you have followed my lesson along the way, this should be quite simple to you now because you know that this is division. I can show you break things up. And then when you have power of 3, throw it to the front. Okay, at this stage, right, your main goal is that you want to substitute because this is a substitution question. That's why they give you 2 conditions in front. Okay, always don't run away from the initial conditions they gave you. So since they gave you substitution stuff to substitute, you must understand that you must make them in the form of log base 3y and log base 3x. Correct? As I repeat many times already, so that you can substitute with r or t. Okay, I'll try to rewrite it here. I'll just write the simplified version now. Log base 3 x is equals to r and log base 3 y is equals to t. Okay, we have got these 2 substitution. Okay, these 2 substitution to substitute. Okay, so I want to express everything in terms of this one and this one, so I can put r in later on. You understand? So I want to express everything in terms of this one and this one. Means everything you have to break down so that you get this one and get this one. Because once you get this one, you can substitute, you can replace this one with r. So your answer will be in terms of r and t. Okay, logical? So, but the problem is, for this question, you have base 9, but the substitution that you want to substitute with is base 3. So you know that you must change base. So how do you change base? From here, right, you can do 2 things. You can either bring the 3 in front, only you change the base, or you can straight away change base from here. Don't have to bring 3 in front first. Okay, I don't think I will bring it in front first. It's easier not to bring it in front first. Okay, so all these are experience lah. So you change it to log base 3x cubed over log base 3 9. Why? Remember, when I want to change log base 9 to base 3, I write log base 3 and log base 3 top and bottom. Then the right hand side one will sit on top, the left hand will sit below. Don't forget about this. Then I plus, this one also have to change base. Why? Ask yourself why. Because this is not in terms of base 3, which you will substitute later. So change it to base 3. It becomes log base 3 of y over log base 3 of 9. Okay, as usual, why? Because I'm changing log base 3, so I write log base 3, log base 3. The right-hand side one will sit on top. The left-hand side one will sit bottom. Okay, so I've converted them into this thing. So I try to simplify them. So you see, this one is in terms of log base 3x already. But I cannot substitute yet. I have to bring the 3 in front first. So I will bring the 3 in front, log base 3x. And then this one is actually log base 3. Break 9 down into 3 square. Okay, break 9 down into 3 square. And then this 2, I bring it in front. Okay, I bring it in front. So I write in front, plus, okay, log base 3, you cannot put it down any further, over log base 3, 9. Log base 3, 9, as usual, is log base 3, 3 square. Because 9 is 3 square. So I bring this power 2 in front. I won't explain the detailed working already, okay? Because I've explained many, many times in front. So I have this. So you know that log 3, 3 and log 3, 3 will become just 1. So it doesn't matter. So now you try to substitute everything. Why I know I can substitute everything now is because everything is in the simplest form. And you don't have a power up here. Remember, I told you when you substitute, there's no power. That cannot be power up here. You must bring the power down there. So I've brought everything down. So I can substitute now. So when I want to substitute this one with what? What is log base 3x? You remember this now? We have worked out log base 3x is r, log base 3y is t. So log base 3x will give you 3r over 2 times 1, because log 3 is 1, plus 3 t over 2 times 1 also, because log base 3 is 1 again. So what you get is 3r over 2 plus t over 2. Or if you want to combine them, since they have the same denominator, you combine them to become 3r plus t. Read back the question. Are you answering the question? Okay, the question. All right. So actually question C is very, very similar to question A, okay? Question B is a tough one. So I'll put a star here, I'll put a highlighter, highlight it. So question B is the harder one. Question C is similar to question A. You just break things up. But question A, you use unknowns. Question C, you use numbers. Okay, understand? So when you want to substitute, this is a substitution question, I know. Okay, first step I know is a substitute question. So I got to break things up to be as simple as possible. So 45, you think, can break it up to what? Okay, 9 times 5. Okay, can become 3 times 3 squared. Okay, you break it up, then you expand it, then you substitute it. Don't forget to bring the power down first. This is just a hint, okay? I won't go through C because it's something I'll give you as homework, okay? Try this homework and comment down whether you can do it or not. You should be able to. And when you see square root, don't be afraid. Convert it to become 3 to the power of half first. All right? Then you work it out. And then 1, 2, 5. It's a family of 5. You can try yourself, okay, this type of questions. Okay, so actually I've done with all the questions in part 1, part 2, and part 3 that I'm supposed to discuss. So the rest that I did not discuss, you can work them out as homework. And then if you want, you can actually show me. Okay, since now the community is still small, I can check if you want me to check for you. Just comment down below that you want me to check for you. At least I can see, all right? That is all for this subtopic. This subtopic is a bit harder than the 4.1. But the hardest one will be the last subtopic, which is 4.4, where you solve equation. Oh my gosh, that's going to drive you crazy and drive me crazy as well when I teach. So that one you must really focus when you're learning. All right, so as I said, this video, right, I will try to break it up into the notes video and the questions video, because maybe it's more systematic this way. Okay, and then I hope you learn well. I hope that you are learning something from me lah. If you do, must leave a thumbs up to share and share this to as many people as possible, so that they can view they can view this this free online Add Math course as well, because I'm trying to share to as many people as possible, as it is free. Okay, it is free for everyone. All right, so I will see you in the next video on the chapter 4.4, which is on solving equations involving indices and logarithm. And there are many, many types of questions, many types of questions there that you got to remember and work things out organized yourself. All right. So until then, stay safe. All right. See you. Bye-bye.